Excellency Andriy Pravednik, the ambassador of Ukraine to Uganda at State House Entebbe. During the meeting, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and Ambassador Pravednik engaged in fruitful discussions, addressing various areas of mutual interest such as economic cooperation, trade relations and security. The courtesy call underscored the commitment of both Uganda and Ukraine to strengthening their diplomatic ties and exploring new avenues for collaboration. The government of Uganda has signed a contract with MS Suma, a Turkish company, for the construction of a 20,000-seater Hoima multipurpose stadium ahead of the 27 Africa Cup of Nations. The 20,000-seater Hoima multipurpose stadium is among those that Uganda plans to host matches during the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations, AFCON, which it will co-host with Kenya and Tanzania. Details in this report.
The contract signing ceremony was hosted by the First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, who first received the 34.9 acres land title from the Minister for Lands, Judith Nabakoba.
Today marks a culmination of the tireless efforts of different people, both from government and from the private sector, who have gone beyond the call of duty to ensure that we commence the process of developing sports infrastructure in preparing for the Africa Cup of Nations 2027.
It was signed by Dr. Bernard Patrick Ogwell on behalf of the government and National Council of Sports, and Selim Bora on behalf of the Suma Construction Company.
I now appeal to the contractor, the Suma president, who happens to be present here with us, to ensure that we have a 20,000-seater multipurpose stadium of international standards ready for inspection by the Confederation of Africa Football by 31st December 2025. I can see that you are agreeing with me. Thank you so much. Thank you. Do not let Ugandans down, because hosting Africa Cup of Nations is a golden opportunity whose benefits go beyond football to the country.
MS Suma has been tasked to undertake construction works of the 20,000-seater stadium within 18 months and must be ready when Confederation of African Football comes for inspection of AFCON facilities by 31st December 2025.
Following the wise counsel of the President, we embarked on securing a contractor to undertake works for the construction of the stadium in Hoima City. We are here today to witness the signing of contract with the Suma company so that it can undertake the works for the construction of the Hoima Stadium within the 18 months.
The contractors were identified after a thorough check that was deemed fit following work they have undertaken for the Kigali Arena and the Amahoro Stadium in Rwanda and several works in Senegal.
Indeed, during the procurement process, the technical team led by the Ministry of Works and Transport undertook a benchmarking exercise to assess the suitability of the company, and I'm glad to inform you that their report to me was positive.
This Hoima City Stadium land is credited to the generosity of the late James Rujumba, who donated 10 acres of land, onto which Federation of Uganda Football Association and government added.
The government of Uganda is taking deliberate action to invest in sports infrastructure to not only develop and professionalize our abundant talent in different disciplines, but to generate revenue for government that these facilities are capable of doing if it's well managed, if they're well managed.
The State Minister for Sports, Peter Ogwang, pointed out the need for Uganda to develop holistic plans to tap into sports tourism to generate revenue for the country.
We have different roles to play, but let us work together as a team on this assignment and execute it to the satisfaction of Ugandan. This is the people's project that we must deliver by 31st December 2025.
And furthermore, the chairman of the Presidential Advisory Committee on Economic and Industrial Development, PASAID, Audrey Rabogo, has reiterated the need for hard work, persistence, value addition and unity as the milestone for sustainable economic growth and industrial development. Rabogo was addressing community leaders and farmers of Lango region at St. Mary's Girls College, Aboke in Kole district.
When we began this work in 2022, we were exporting 4.5 billion US dollars. I can't put it in shillings. When I checked in February of this year, we had reached 6.9 billion. This is not just PASAID work alone. Institutions of government combine to do this. But PASAID makes the largest noise on markets in the world, so that we have attention as a country as a good source of good products that were not known. Our target is $6 billion by 2028, which will double our current exports.
We have a mechanism whereby we can have small contracts, what we call Juakali contracts. We have schools where government has provided money for procurement of desks, and these are contracts worth just 7 million shillings. We have small constructions of toilet facilities worth at about 10 million, 15 million.
The Presidential Advisory Committee on Economic and Industrial Development has set a vision to double this figure in the next 5 years by supporting the export sector through a 4-pillar strategy focusing on infrastructure, markets, standards, and export credit finance. The chairman PACEID, Audrey Rabogo, urged farmers to add value to their products and services to enhance their competitiveness in both domestic and global markets.
When we began this work in 2022, we were exporting 4.5 billion US dollars. When I checked in February of this year, we had reached 6.9 billion. This is not just PASAID work alone. Institutions of government combine to do this. But PASAID makes the largest noise on markets in the world, so that we have attention as a country as a good source of good products that were not known. Our target is $6 billion by 2028, which will double our current exports.
Rabogo also commissioned 548 youths, women and men from Kole district who graduated with Directorate of Industrial Training certificates in tailoring, automotive mechanics, building construction, carpentry and hairdressing. He encouraged them to utilize the skills they have acquired to transform their lives and their communities.
Even when we say Lango, you need a group of companies that can get orders, that have skilled workers, disciplined, to produce the right quality and on time. Now, that's why the business I do is to support sick companies or non-existent ones we have to bring onto the market.
The Directorate of Industrial Training assessed and certified the graduates. The director encouraged the graduates to continue upgrading their skills to stay competitive in the job market.
Yeah, after graduating, they can now continue. The certification which we have given him is recognized in both Uganda education system and the labour market, Section 21, BTVET Act.
The Member of Parliament for Kole North, Dr. Samuel Opio, urged local governments to award small contracts to these newly skilled youths to promote local economic development.
A mechanism whereby we can have small contracts, what we call Juakali contracts. We have schools where government has provided money for procurement of desks, and these are contracts worth just 7 million shillings. We have small constructions of toilet facilities worth at about 10 million, 15 million, 5 million shillings. These are contracts which some of these artisans or these Juakali artisans can be able to get them.
For UBC TV News, I am Nahabwe Charity and Henry Muganga.
Yes, the target is $6 billion for exports 2028. Now, as you are aware, tomorrow, the 9th of June 2024, will be National Heroes Day, and it's going to be celebrated in Gomba. Right about now, the preparations are high in gear and allow us to switch you over to Gomba, where some issues are being raised live. We take you there now.
Olukola amakubo ne batematema sente ezo batematema katika mbuze sister wange yababuliro bakimanyiko bayalimu mu lukiiko abegomba jemuli wanji amakubo ababbi kakatuliziganye olukiiko oba akakiiko kakulibwa Minister wa Works. Minister wa Works yakola ku nguudo. Minister wa Works mumanyi owaffe ye chairman owokumeka sente bwe ziba mu parliament ne zituuka eno zitemwatemwa omukulu kanso etulibwamu baani mugenze kanso etulibwamu baani ekubirizibwani chairman owokumeka mukama abampeera omukisa so yamanyi sente za maweziri naye balagande tabimanyi naye balagande lekola ki gwesewa yogera ebibyo amanyi agange Mukyagwe Robert chairman NRM Mulifirigi Gomba district nze kyensaba President Museveni kyabatukolera yatandikawo Greater Kisozi ne LCs 9 abavubuka n'abakola bulungi nnyo mu West naye musaba ajje ne mu East kyakoledde West ne East abavubuka gye bali tukola banange kye musaba ekyakitukolere mukamba abatuweera abiwulidde muzeeye kye kizibu kyo neyanza nnyo neyanza egeri Nyanze Kayego Timothy ansonga ensinga okunsiiwa n'okunnuma kati ebyobufuzi bye bigenda otandika okuyinda abaana ab'obuvubuka babakozesa nnyo naye ne babakozesa obwereere ne bawunzika basasulwa nga bali mu makomera mukikubire mu ngalo mumukubire mu ngalo genda mu maaso ekyokubiri nsaba President mmanyi nti ondaba malewo wali ebanga ekatudde wali akabavubuka abavubuka baagala nnyo ekibiina kya NRM naye obuzibu ebikono babakuba emikono baagala okulaba pulezidenti waabwe balina ensonga ezibaluma kale abavubuka b'eggomba nze minisita wammwe waki mukole ekiwandiiko nakulira abavubuka abadde wano simanya alazeewa awandiike ekiwandiiko muwulira akikwase onarabona yebale ajja kukimpa oba ajja kukiwa mwannyinaze mukulu wange maama Alice Kaboyo tukiwa pulezidenti mugamba abeegomba baagala kwogeramu nabo abavubuka ensonga z'abavubuka zitwale ng'ekyamaanyi enamba yange ngibawe kale ate mujja kutandika kuŋŋamba nti olina omukyala mujja kuntawaanya nagigabako juuzi abawala ne bankubira abawala 1,000 kati nze mwali mwagala nfe Oweekitiibwa Minisita kamalirize ekirala maama owakanyoka k'eruweero nze golaba wano taata wange ye yali omuwandiisi w'ekibiina kya UPM bagitanga Mawokota constituency n'ebbalwa najjukuwa nsobola wagifunye naye nange mbadde nsaba President nga ndaba nali badde omu ku bazire ekyabaweerwa ku midaali kubanga
ekyo sabye kiri leeti kubanga oyita mu district yo neekulikomendinga then ne baweereza e Kampala abagenda ofuna emidaali gy'enkyo olwedde beemanyi era bajja kubasoma kati gwe saba ensonga ziziweddeyo wona omwami naye ayogere
ekyekiko n'ekyo kyetwogerako
neyanzeege amanya n'eddoboozi sindaayiga ya Martin nga ndi wa wano Kanoni maze ebbanga ddene nga njogera ku batusingako abasobola okwogerera ku muzindaalo guno batusabire essomero lya Shidi mu Kyegonza tulina kisozi
Kyegonza ebeera Gombolola
yes Gombolola y'Ekyegonza
kati wulira ekyo mwanyinaze naye bale Ekyegonza mu Gombolola tebalina CD school tebalina CD school
Ekyegonza wano
kati ate ekirungi mama alaba lindako katono naye bale honorable naye bale olina kyomanyi ku CD school olina entegeka banyonyole leka abanyonyole
abegomba gye muli tuli mu kanaayo kyani kaakati sebo minisita buli mwaka gavumenti ebaako kyekola naddala ku by'amasomero omwaka ogwaggwa yazimba ery'ekigezi omwaka guno egenda kuzimba ery'engoma nnene lye bayita parents community egenda difuula seed school so njagala otegeeza bannagomba byonna tebijja kukolebwa lunaku lumu kimu nga gavumenti bwetambuza omwaka guno ery'engoma nnene oguddako Kyegonza yokka yeetalina seed school gye tusigazza ebirala byonna
naye era kye tusobola okukola honorable MP nga bwe bagenda okuzimba liri eggombololo eddala tubuuzeeko maama engeri gyali ku TV nti naye alaba tumusabe nti nerina eggombolo eddala alikolera eddala nga terunagenda mu kisanja kiddako bakola amagombolo agasigadde
obugalo bwa minisita
leka gw'olina okusaba gw'omubaka gwesabira abantu
owekitiibwa maama mmanyeeyo gy'oli otulengera ng'omulezi w'eggwanga nga mukwano gwaffe nnyo mugomba muno tukwagadde twakafuna ttaba tusaba ne Kyegonza nayo maama n'obuwombeefu nayo Kyegonza efune
ojja kufukamira omwebazo oli abeera maama mufukamirire omusabe
maama musabye n'obuwombeefu
maama Janet Museveni MP afukamidde ng'asaba essomero Kyegonza
neyanziza neyanzegeyo yensonga ebadde ennuma
kati wano oyo naye ayogere
balamusizza nnyo bassebo ne bannyabo
sawa eddako ya gravity waali yogera mangu
amannya agange bampita teeza kyakuwagguliko nga ntwala obubaka bwange eri pulezidenti Museveni bw'aba mpulira pulezidenti waffe Museveni nsabo nyambe teezira nsibiddwa emirundi n'emirundi ensonga gye sitamanyi na kumanya naye ng'omusika waffe kalungi guliko bannanga asuuse otusiba pulezidenti oba akola ku nsonga z'abamulekwa tuyambe bato bange bonna babasibye emirundi n'emirundi nsibiddwa mu kkomera entire sitamanyi kodde n'akamu wadde amayitire naye nga kalungi omusika waffe yatusiba abanange bakama baffe mutuyambe
kale weebale nnyo kati wona omuzeeyi naye ayogere muzeeyi yogera oyo wa PRU naye ate wa NRM
PRU ebeerewo mwebale nnyo amanya agange nze Maziba Tone totawanya minisita woogira olinda okutawanya minisita
soka olindeko katono ssebo mama RDC omukyalo oyo baŋŋambye nti omusika waabwe abeera Kampala akozesa ssente ng'ayita mu ba-DPC wano nga basiba abantu abo kwata microphone ogenda kwogera
kakati njagala okukakasa abatuliza bonna
abakulaba
abatulaba mwenna abandaba ku TV namwe abandaba live wano nali sinnajja wano basibanga abantu ku nsonga z'ettaka bwe najja mpozi nga bakusibye sitegedde teri gwe basiba ku nsonga ya ttaka ensonga z'ono nakubira kalungi ne muyita agenda kujja alina mwanyi naye akajja mu ofiisi ne mugamba kansooke hirozidde nenkubira kalungi agenda kujja ku nsonga zaabwe
omusika
kalungi owaffe ow'ekapala ye musika namukubira agenda kujja muganda akirumira
yes agenda kujja ku nsonga z'abano
teri gwe baali basiga mpozi nga sikutegedde singa wanji osanga bamusiba sinajja obanga sitegedde bakusiba ddi
bansiba omwezi omwaka oguwedde ne bansiba ne Kanoni.
Omwaka ki mu mwezi ki?
Omwezi gwa 11 omwana ono eyanvuga nanjja Kanoni ne bantwala Nateete paka Nateete okuzuula nti nali trespassing nga teriiyo. Ogwasooka ne bansiba nti namenya hardware nenziba seminti nenziba wheelbarrow nenziba eddoba lya langi nga siina kyemmanyi. Baka mukoti.
Okay. Linda Kosi, gole. Ensonga zono tuziwulidde. Katugenda mukwasa ono muzukulu wa Museveni. Tugenda mukwasa RDC. Ensonga zazinoonyerezeko paka nga zimaliriza.
Tebajja kuddayo kusiba. Nsula wano Kanoni awo mu tawuni. Ofisi yange eri kusaza. Owulidde. Olunaku oluggo olw'enkya munoonye. Kusaza. Paka kuddayo kusiba. Singa poliisi ejjo evuddewa. Ngenda kuwa enamba yange esimu onkubire. Sorry.
Kale woyo omwami ayogere.
Nsanyusa nnyo ku lw'omukolo guno oguzze Mugomba district. Amannya nze Lukundo Yasiini. Ebindeesa biri ebintu bibiri. Ffe abavubuka bwe tutuuka mu campaign batwetaaga. Bwe tuva mu campaign ne batwesamba. Lwaki? Ekyokubiri. Nze nina muzeeyi wange bamuyita Kamunye Yokaana. Ali mu myaka.
Now that is what's happening in the preparations for Heroes Day. That is tomorrow, 9th of June 2024. That's at Kanoni Primary School in Gomba District. Now we have to move on with our bulletin as we shall be sharing with you some more details from what's happening there. Now the State Minister for Youth and Children Affairs, Balambagahara Atieni, has emphasized the importance of supporting young people, describing them as the greatest asset for the nation's transformation. The minister was at the 26th Entrepreneurship graduation of Abstinence Hope International and Mercy Day at NSSF Grounds, Dubois.
State Minister for Youth and Children Affairs, Balambagahara, highlighted government's efforts to align education with market demands via the 2019 Cabinet-approved technical and vocational education policy.
As a leader, I want to encourage our young people and their parents too, that there are many more employment opportunities in TVET as a career path than white-collar jobs as a customs. However, we have to be willing to overcome the mental barrier in some of you.
The minister was at the 26th Abstinence Hope International graduation and Mercy Day at NSSF Grounds, Lobowa.
Now you must all have heard over and over again that our country is blessed with a young population, which rates to about 78% of the total population. Some, and this may look like a challenge to socio-economic transformation, however, to some of us, our young people are the greatest resources we should all support.
AHI Country Director Isaac Luganda says their hard work paid off, graduating over 250 students with practical skills and entrepreneurship.
We have skilled and we have also done what? We have also helped register their businesses. So we assess the impact by their businesses, the many businesses they have started and sustaining right now.
The impact has been profound, with many of the beneficiaries now running their own sustainable businesses.
I saw many of us sit at home with our degrees, with our diplomas and every certificate, but we didn't have any jobs. So instead of waiting for government or for anyone to help us or get this job from a white-collar job, we wait for the very time. No, we skill as we wait.
One of the core objectives of AHI is to eradicate poverty and unemployment among the youth and women.
I'm so happy to see that one of the miracles I've seen myself today, see that the UPDF soldiers are engaged in skilling mixed with wananchi. They've been studying with girls and young boys, but before, to see a soldier within the community, everybody will be running away. So I'm excited to see that the soldiers have been mingling and studying and getting skills.
The event was filled with testimonials from graduates who shared their transformative journeys.
But I'm planning to open up other businesses, like to make flower pots.
In the next 5 years, AHI plans to expand its programs to help more people across Uganda succeed with employable skills. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
Yes, sir. Now, as Uganda approaches Heroes Day celebrations on June 9th, 2024, the Uganda Blood Transfusion Services has partnered with the Uganda Free Zones Authority to launch a blood donation drive in response to the critical blood shortage in the country. This blood donation drive aims to provide a platform for individuals who wish to donate blood, recognizing them as heroes for their contribution to saving lives.
There has been a call for donating blood because there is a relative shortage of blood in the country. And so as Uganda Free Zones Authority, we played the facilitative role of creating a platform for Ugandans to be able to donate that blood. Rarely will you find someone moving voluntarily to a hospital and donating blood. But when you put up such a platform, you give them chance to donate blood and save lives. We know that many mothers, some mothers as they give birth, they need blood, anemia, those suffering from anemia, those with sickle cells, accident victims, many of them need blood. And many a times you find that the blood is not sufficient in these facilities. And so we thought providing this platform away from our usual work of facilitating and regulating companies that invest in free zones, we thought that this would give a good platform for those that are willing to donate blood, especially so as we move into the celebration of Heroes Day. We consider every blood donor a hero.
Annually, we have a target of collecting 300,000 units of blood, but we collect about 3/4 of that blood at the end of every year, which is annually. So we still call on the public to involve and engage themselves in this blood donation, because at the end of the day, we are collecting blood as a mandate for Uganda Blood Transfusion Service to collect the blood, then we screen it and then give it out to the hospitals. But then still, if the public does not involve themselves in blood donation, we shall never have enough blood at blood banks, since we don't have a factory that manufactures this blood. It's our bodies that manufacture this blood. So when the public doesn't involve themselves in the blood donation, as Uganda Blood Transfusion Service, we can never have enough blood to sustain the accredited facilities to receive the blood.
I've not had a patient who is as the result of an accident, but I can imagine if someone has an accident and they have lost blood, they need instant blood, otherwise they'll lose their life. And if the blood is available, they'll be safe. So that's why I come out and save a life where I can. Yeah.
Construction of the Nalukolongo West water treatment plant here in Kampala is 70% complete. Government of Uganda, through National Water and Sewerage Corporation, intends to use the project to improve water and sanitation services to 650,000 people living in informal settlements of Kampala City. Diana Olwenyi-Peters reports.
Makerere University College of Health Sciences, in partnership with Child Health and Development Center, is researching on the causes for increased vulnerability of communities in Acholi sub-region to acquisition of sexually transmitted infections. Halfway into the research, preliminary findings indicate that 1.6% of the girls aged 13 to 17 years have HIV.
By law, children are individuals aged 13 to 17, not so. Our findings reveal that HIV prevalence in this age group stands at 1.6%. That is
countdown to completion on one of the biggest infrastructural projects
ever undertaken by National Water and Sewage Corporation, is approaching the finish line. The sewage treatment plant in Nalukolongo is expected to have a capacity to treat 400,000 litres of wastewater per day.
We also have, of course, the water and sanitation facilities that will be constructed in the public places. And under here, we plan to construct 64 modern sanitation facilities in our communities. And here, the beneficiaries, of course, our communities, the schools, the police, the prisons, especially zero prisons. We have the public places like tax parks, the markets. We also done somewhere like the city square.
In company of area leaders, we were taken around the project. It will encompass a fecal sludge treatment plant that comprises of sedimentation tank, anaerobic ponds, facultative ponds, and constructed wetlands for tertiary treatment of wastewater.
As part of the system, we have a constructed wetland that is able to improve on the quality of the effluent that we're able to discharge. So as we appreciate that a big part of the wetland has been encroached on and destroyed, so as part of the project we have a process that which incorporates a constructed wetland.
Our plan is in future to also improve. LC1 chairman, you requested that we should connect, we should install sewers. Our next phase is to extend the sewer pipeline, so it's something we're also planning.
The cost of this project is 29 million euros, approximately 120 billion shillings, with the funding from Germany and France. Since its inception, the project has, however, left a bittersweet feeling among area residents.
You are doing this project, but people are much affected outside there because of this project. All the water is to come here is going back to the community. So when they call me for this, when they give me this invitation, I had to make sure that I'm able to bring out this.
We must protect the wetlands. Chairman, tuteekwa okubuulira abantu baffe. Okay? Yadde onoonya obululu bwo, yadde okola kyokola, nkwegayiridde tuyimirire ku magulu gaffe, tubuulire abantu obulabe obuli mu kukola ki? Mu kubeera mu ntobazi.
Construction works at this project kicked off in October 2022 and expected completion date is October 2024. Diano Olweny Peters, UBC News.
The Prime Minister of Acholi Cultural Institution, Otim Michael, has called for cultural revival in Acholi and northern region as a whole as a gateway to reinstating cultural beliefs and norms in communities, thus guarding against moral decay. Now, this comes in the heels of research findings indicating a petrifying HIV status in Acholi sub-region that currently has a prevalence of 8.9%, largely blamed on immorality amongst the young people. Now, to Otim, the immoral yet untamed young people are proceeds of the infamous Lord's Resistance Army War that terrorized northern Uganda for almost 2 decades.
Makerere University College of Health Sciences, in partnership with Child Health and Development Center, is researching on the causes for increased vulnerability of communities in Acholi sub-region to acquisition of sexually transmitted infections. Halfway into the research, preliminary findings indicate that 1.6% of the girls aged 13 to 17 years have HIV.
By law, children are individuals aged 13 to 17, not so. And our findings reveal that HIV prevalence in this age group stands at 1.6%. That is probably 2 out of 100 children have HIV based on findings from this study.
The research also reveals that about 47% of families are women-headed, followed by those that are child-headed, translating into a high level of vulnerability of adolescent girls and young women to any social mischief. The reason for many women-headed families is attributed to the protracted Lord's Resistance War that paralyzed the region and fractured family structures.
In that period, they lost touch and connection with the center of learning in our indigenous societies. We all know that learning started from home. So parents were also at a loss about how to raise their children. They were living in confined spaces, sharing in-laws sharing spaces, which was almost a taboo in our normal society.
This, coupled with general low perception, complacency, low adherence, and uptake of drugs, has fueled persistent new infections among adolescent girls and young women.
We stopped communicating about the risk of HIV/AIDS, and people in the public generally feel that they are not at risk of contracting HIV/AIDS. So there has been complacency in trying to prevent HIV/AIDS, and that has tried to almost reverse the gains that we had made.
In the face of the donor fatigue, key sector players are calling for interventions like domestic funding to safeguard some of the gains in the fight. Betty Ochan, the woman member of parliament for Gulu City, who also sits on the Parliamentary Health Committee, assures stakeholders of increased budgetary allocation, especially now that statistics to guide decision-making are available.
We can no longer wait for the final dissemination of this research. We want it very much as yesterday. We also have research work unit in Parliament. We can go and share with them that this research is very important. We want to see how to factor in our other documents also for budget purpose.
In the meantime, the Prime Minister of Acholi Cultural Institution, Otim Michael, is calling for collaborative efforts geared to reviving culture among communities to catapult decency and good morals.
We need a renaissance, cultural revitalization, or revival for that matter, to change. And this is one area that the cultural institution wants to work with a number of stakeholders, including Makerere College of Health Sciences, that is working in partner with other stakeholders in this research.
All in all, Acholi sub-region is reportedly promising as regards to the 95-95-95 UNAIDS target, as evidenced by the fact that 89% know their HIV status, 73.7% of those are on ART, while 85.6% passed the viral road.
The high taxes imposed on private schools to operate and on school materials used by scholars have allegedly hindered their progress. This was communicated by leadership of Green Hill Schools during celebrations to mark 30 years of their existence. The function was held in Bowate, Wakiso District.
Schools registered as companies pay tax at a rate of 30% of their income, while schools registered by individuals pay tax at a progress rate between 10% and 30%. Similarly, schools must collect withholding tax of 6% from their suppliers of items above 1 million and pay the tax to Uganda Revenue Authority. Tebachimbulide Benon is the head teacher of Green Hill Primary School, Buwate.
Ranging from the property taxes, income tax, pay as you earn, we have taxes on plastic materials. We have over 20 taxes that we actually pay as an institution. We pay these taxes and we don't encourage anyone to dodge these taxes, only if these taxes can actually do what they're supposed to do.
His Lordship Emeritus Justice Samuel Wako-Wambuz wants government to let private schools operate according to the purpose of the operators.
I believe the government can do what they want in their schools, but these private schools are good for the owners have got reasons, as I told you.
They communicated this at a Thanksgiving ceremony of Green Hill Schools as they celebrate 30 years of existence. The Thanksgiving ceremony was led by a retired Bishop of Kampala Diocese, Elfaz Mali. Bishop Elfaz Mali cautioned the schools against activities of homosexuality, while also cautioning Ugandans against corruption tendencies.
I don't know whether they know that the judgment day is there. So they should repent and return those things. But God will forgive them. The good thing is that God is merciful and forgive them. Really, that kind of behavior really hurts God and also the society.
Green Hill Academy, which was started with only 35 students in February 1994, now boasts of over 5,000 students in nursery, primary and secondary sections.
From a personal perspective, I'm extremely satisfied because the impact that they had through Green Hill has totally shaped their future, and I see that, and so many parents attest to that.
We thank the people who bring a smile to our faces every day, every week, every month, every year for the last 30 years, the children of Green Hill Schools.
The institution is a brainchild of the late Gladys Nsibirwa Wakoambos and the late Janet Nsibirwa, Deborah Namamonde. UBC News.
The Uganda National Oil Company, UNOC, is wholly owned by the government of Uganda and was established to safeguard and promote Uganda's commercial interests in the petroleum sector. UNOC has two subsidiaries, the Uganda Refinery Holding Company, URHC, which will hold a 40% stake in the 60,000 barrel per day refinery and manage the development of Kabalega Industrial Park, and the National Pipeline Company Limited, NPC, in charge of pipelines, storage, and downstream business ventures. This subsidiary holds 15% interest in the East African Crude Oil Pipeline, EACOP. EACOP is a 1,445-kilometer long pipeline that will transport crude oil through 10 districts in Uganda to the port of Tanga in Tanzania. UNOC is also actively engaged in crude oil exploration, development, and production activities, and its participation role includes a 15% stake in the Tilenga, Nwoya, and Bulisa, and Kingfisher Development Projects, Chikure. UNOC also holds the exploration license for Kasuruban Block in Hoima, Bulisa, and Masindi. UNOC currently owns and manages the Jinja Storage Terminal and will build a 320 million litre capacity terminal in MPG called the Kampala Storage Terminal. At UNOC, we're harnessing the potential of Uganda's petroleum resources, forging a sustainable future and preserving the natural beauty of Uganda. UNOC, your partner in Uganda's oil and gas industry.
Sigekira mulimo gwenkola gukanikira baba customer ukawasobuni kimba n'obwire obukutwala sente isomero ati ntyo amukolesa enkola ya MTN mobile money ni migasta 10 star 8 nintekamu kodi namba y'omwana genda sente ninsasola ku luminta ino kuterimaniziwa koni katunga esimu kuruga mu MTN bantereire okubanza ntakikirize nkaba amanyire bali bafere hanyuma nagenda nakakuza MTN aho nagamba ntungire esimu ino kuruga mu MTN kyamazima okuba nkabanta amanyire nti aliyo promotion hanyuma madam akola MTN yangambira kyamazima kubasima muno mwebale muno akasente kabaire kenja kusasula school fees tamwe kuija bakasasuire akandi nja kasasulira mu bagenzi baye abatabandi mwebale muno.
Together we're unstoppable.
Once upon a time, there lived identical twins who gave birth to beautiful princes and princesses.
Their mothers gave their babies' bodies a lot of care by applying on their skin with Baby Junior jelly.
Though dried their chariots and everyone would admire their glowing skin. Fun fact, Baby Junior prevents diaper rash, dry and sensitive skin.
Moms all over Africa love Baby Junior jelly. Baby Junior the skin. No more worries anymore. Boo, 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 boo. Baby Junior. Baby Junior.
Oh, yeah, lighten up, stay fresh. You wanna come preach, I'll be my get. Lighten, lighten. I did make a lighten up.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117
Hey, business people of Uganda, the Uganda National Lottery is coming. It's the perfect opportunity to boost your business. Zimba your business by becoming an authorized Uganda National Lottery agent. By paying a security deposit of just 250,000 shillings, you will receive your very own Uganda National Lottery terminal, expert training from the pros themselves, and marketing materials to skyrocket your sales. And with a generous 5% commission on every ticket sold, the potential for earnings is limitless. Don't miss out. Act now and call us toll-free at 0800 33 44 33 to see if you qualify. Join us today and Zimba your business. Ituba Uganda is regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
Welcome back. You're still watching the UBC News Tonight, broadcasting live from Nile Avenue. I'm still Wadulo Mark Arnold and Mugalu Muhammad on sign language. Now, in more news, religious leaders, including bishops of Mahdi and West Nile dioceses and humanitarian organizations, have called for stakeholder participation in ending strikes in schools. This follows a series of strikes that have happened in schools of West Nile, within 2023 being one of the years with the worst experiences of student strikes in the sub-region. The call was made during a dialogue with teachers in Arua City, an urban center that also hosts refugee learners. Details in this report.
The need for mindset change among teachers and students stands out as a core factor to ending strikes in schools in order to improve academic performances. To that effect, Bishop of Mahdi and West Nile Diocese, Right Reverend Charles Collins Andaku, charges the various stakeholders to play their role in ensuring zero tolerance to strikes in schools by instilling discipline among learners.
If all the players in the field, the BOG, the SMC, the PTA, the foundation body, the administration, and the teachers, even the student leaders, the government and our partners pursue peaceful coexistence, strikes will be no more. Indiscipline cases will disappear.
While addressing students of St. Joseph's College Ombachi, Paul Kenya, the UNHCR head of Arua office, says determination to academic success should be the target for both teachers and students.
You will be punished, you'll be sent home, you don't have school fees, you've done something wrong. Please always start with thinking what you want to achieve.
The people in your circle are the students. When students riot, they demonstrate one thing, that students have the ability to come together, decide we are going to do this, to disrupt this, and we are going to do it this way. And they do it with passion. You have to understand the people you're dealing with.
Aluma Habib, the West Nile Regional Secretary for Uganda's Muslim Supreme Council, stresses that there is need for teachers to give platforms for students to also express themselves so that their understanding is deepened.
I think the most important thing is for schools providing a conducive environment for the students to showcase their leadership talents. When this one is limited, usually the alternative option is violence. For them to express themselves, it will go a long way in addressing conflicts and strikes in schools. So I want to encourage the school communities here. Let us have disciplinary committees of students.
Held at Ombachi Secondary School, the dialogue that gathered head teachers and class teachers in Arua City also zeroed on the need for inter-school conflict resolution through partners like Norwegian Refugee Council. This is as a result of many secondary schools in West Nile being seen clashing through serious fights, especially during sports activities. Joseph Orama, UBC News, in Arua City.
And right about now, we switch you back to Gomba, where the pre-preparations of National Heroes Day will be happening. Right about now, we switch you back live in Gomba.
Mwaronda bubi government yasigalawo kati mulondo bulungi sobola kulongosa embeera zino zonna NRM oye! Abawagira NRM mute mikono wagulu. Abawagira NRM mteke mikono wagulu. Kati ebisigadde byonna tumaze weeks 2 mugomba nga tulongose embeera yonna. Nga bwe mbabuulidde twalongoosa abantu haniya, twalongoosa amaaso, twajanjaba abantu bangi. N'abavubuka ne muzanya football zamwe. Kati twagala kukomawo tukole ebyenkulaakulana. Muwulidde twagala nkulaakulana. Twagala abantu bayingize sente mu maka. Abantu b'ekyayi benawulira abazirwanako abali wano n'abataliiwo mujje mu ofisi yange. Tugenda okulongoosa ebizibu byonna ebyabazirwanako. Waliwo ab'ekyayi newa gomba yonna kubanga manyi mugomba mwonna n'ebyempuliddeko wano e Kanoni abantu bangi bazirwanako naye temufunanga kasiimo, temufunanga okulabirirwa bulungi, naye kigenda kutereera. Muwulidde ebintu byammwe ebyabazirwanako bigenda kutereera, naye njagala kubasaba olwaleero abaana bano abato bendabye bagende eka, tebasula wano mu ndongo. Nedda twabakubidde endongo nga bukyali, kati bwe banaamala okulya bagende. Abavubuka abakulu ab'ekiteesa muyinza okubeera wano ne bukya, naye abaana abakyali bato nga minisita wamwe bw'abagambye, ono minisita abagambye, ono minisita w'abaana n'abavubuka abagambye tumukole ki? Mugende waka. Enkya tulina olunaku olwa pulezidenti olw'abazibwa abaheroes abaafa, twabasabira. Kati tugenda kukola ki? Kujaguza olunaku lwabwe enkya. Mubeereyo mu bungi wangi, mujje mu bungi, temusula wano. Esawa bwe munaamala okudigida mugende mwebake, enkya tujja kubeera namwe olunaku lwonna. Nsanyuse nnyo okubasanga.
Alo Gomba oye! Museveni oye! Gomba oye! Nayebale oye! Njagala kwebaza mukulu wange maama Honorable Alice Kaboyo byayogedde. Abagambye abaana abato mwenna kati kiragiro nga minisita w'abaana abato mugende ku layini mulye emmere mu ddeeka. Abato bokka mugende ku layini. Abato ne bamala okulya emmere, abakulu naffe tukole ki? Tulye ekyeggulo. Naye kati tugenda mu feezi eddaka ey'okubiri bagiyitaani? Naye njagala okubakubiriza abavubuka abali wano mwenna mwavoidinge okunywa ennyo omwenge. Temunywa nnyo